And we're off. Good morning. Oh, hey, Charlie. How's it going?
It's
good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Polyhedra Show. I'm here with Charlie Brooks.
Yeah.
We are live from Concensus Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It has been a big day, Charlie. Far out. We have just wrapped in the last half an hour our Experience AI event. It was a massive event.
It was a blast, bro. 300 attendees.
Yeah, 350 registered. We had people floating in and out. We had 3 panels, 2 keynotes. Very, very interesting. Love the insights and a lot of connections made and a lot of conversations had. What was some of the highlights for you today, Charlie?
One of the highlights I would say is getting to watch TC's keynote. Obviously, TC is a really smart guy in the space. It's also really cool to see Google coming out and having members of their team come out to support us. So I think those are, exemplary of the types of partnerships Polyhedra is building in the space. I think is super exciting with really established institutions, including Google.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you to Google for coming out and the Chinese Young Entrepreneurs Association who co-hosted the event with us. It was awesome. A lot of energy. We're both pretty tired. It's been a big day, guys. Yeah. And of course, super stoked to be here with Charlie, our Chief Business Officer. Yeah. First time on the show, and what a cool format. We were just saying, kind of feels like we're on a real podcast format here. Yeah, which is exciting. We did have a video we wanted to show you guys as well. It was a submission from the Proof of Love campaign. That was really, really great. I think we'll probably have to share that with you afterwards. Unfortunately, the TV wasn't working with us, so we weren't able to do that. Charlie, man, first time on the show.
Yeah, dude.
Great to have you here.
Second time on the show. I went on the show in early December, but that's when we were still doing Discord live events. So that's not recorded for the Twitter audience. First time doing the Twitter X Spaces.
Yeah. Well, great to have you here, man. And you've obviously been such an important piece of the puzzle at Polyhedra, especially since you came on in December.
Yeah.
You have got a lot done in working behind the scenes. Yeah. And out there hustling and getting your business development.
Absolutely.
Using your skills. Can you tell us a little bit about what the last 3 months has looked like for you?
So one of the first things I worked on Polyhedra was brokering a deal with that you guys are going to hear about soon with the second most trafficked crypto news website in the world. They're beat out the numbers of Cointelegraph, which our audience is probably familiar with, and they usually do about 75% of the volume of web traffic as CoinDesk. I'm not going to reveal the name. These are some guys I'm close friends with. And the deal, isn't public yet. But these guys usually get 3.5 to 5 million visitors per month. And then between, an expansive network of social media accounts, X, Twitter, Telegram groups, Facebook groups, stuff like that, as well as email lists and newsletters. They also reach an audience of hundreds of thousands every week on top of the millions of web visitors they get every month. And so penning that deal is going to help us reach a wider network, which will help build our credibility because people will be more familiar with the Polyhedra brand. It'll also allow us to showcase a lot of our wins. I think one of the things that we've been really good about is getting great partnerships with people like Google, but I don't think enough people know about that. And so having a huge media partnership with a big crypto news website is going to be able to allow us to tell our story to an audience and get more people excited about Polyhedra. Some of the other stuff I've been working on, we recently closed a deal with Coinify. They're one of the biggest crypto payment processors. This massively increases the utility of the token because now 60,000 businesses across the world can now accept our CKJ token as a form of payment.
That's huge.
So these are examples of the types of projects I'm working on. More broadly than that, I'm also obviously in touch with some of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. some which where I have some close friends. We're obviously working on listings because we want people to have we want a big network of people to have an easy user interface to be able to interact with Polyhedra. And for most people, that's their crypto exchange app that they have wherever they're buying and selling or swapping tokens. And so these are some examples of some of the big things that I'm working on. We also have a currently outstanding offer from one of the biggest people in the crypto space who's worked at high levels with the US government and who's also worked at high levels, including C-suite positions at some of the biggest companies in the crypto space. Again, here, I can't be specific.
Some alpha? Yeah.
But we have an outstanding offer that I negotiated that has been made to us that obviously we have to review the terms of and consider accepting. But this would be a partnership in multiple areas, including getting us more listings on exchanges, getting us partnerships with big market makers and OTC desks. Those are, for example, institutions that do trading with hedge funds, that do trading with family offices, that do tradings or with corporations that obviously are using a consumer-facing app to take care of their trading. And it would also be a marketing deal. So this person would be doing episodes of the Polyhedra show and other stuff like that. So these are the types of projects that I've been working on. I think it contributes a lot to our reach. I think it also contributes a lot to our brand and, of course, people being able to interact with our brand. So these are some of the exciting things I've been working on behind the scenes. And I think if you're a dedicated Polyhedra fan and you've been following our metrics, right? You've been following the growth of our Twitter account. You've been following other metrics like the success of our token and stuff like that. You would have seen since I joined several months ago, a huge increase in those metrics of success. And so I think it's really exciting to see us as a team put these things that I've been working towards into practice and closing deals that are having a meaningful impact.
Absolutely. I think we've all seen it. So thank you for doing the amazing work you're doing, man. And yeah, obviously a lot kind of behind the veil that you're kind of course talking about that's in the pipeline. I am lucky enough to have seen behind the veil, and I can tell you it's a very, very exciting stuff, guys. So a little bit of alpha there for you.
Yeah.
Some things that, are going to be announced very, very shortly, I believe. Obviously, like you just touched on the Coinify announcement. That's today, officially live, if I'm correct. So that's huge. So much going on.
And then there are also like other sorts of changes. I mean, it's like you and I last night were talking over dinner about like our plans for the Polyhedra show and how we're going to bring, obviously we can't be specific because it's going to be a surprise, but we're planning on bringing, real heavy hitter influencers in the Twitter space or in the crypto Twitter space on to the Polyhedra show. And that will bring more attention to that'll, draw more users to our Twitter account, which will obviously increase our notoriety in the space.
Network effects.
Yeah, and it also build our credibility when people realize that these are the types of people that we're working with. And so I think that's really exciting to be working in those types of projects with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for that. And obviously something that's been in the pipeline and we've been working on. So super, super exciting to see what comes there, guys. I know that we actually, we did have some questions from the community about that exact thing. Some of the things that are in the pipeline for the Polyhedra show. So there you go. There's a lot that we're going to announce. There are going to be some surprise guests. There's a lot happening here behind the scenes, guys.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons I joined Polyhedra is the strength of the media arm of this company. I mean, we have almost 1 million followers on Twitter. I think we beat major players in the space. We beat the Solana Foundation in our Twitter followers and in our Twitter engagement. Of course, TC is a key asset to that. Obviously, in his own right, he has 250,000 followers on Twitter, and he's a famous person in the space because he invented the zero knowledge proof and because he's working on the forefront of blockchain and AI. And of course, we have 500,000 members of our Discord community. So I think we've been making lots of the right moves in the media on the media arm of our company. That's part of what makes me so excited about working for Polyhedra now. And I think, even talking with you yesterday at dinner, I think we have a really innovative and creative team. And I think we're going to continue to see more growth and surpassing our competitors.
I agree, man. It is strong, and it's obviously super, super fun to be working in this industry, especially, it's such an exciting time to be in this industry. Everything that's happening, not only in like the Web3 decentralization space, but the AI space, and some of those panels today, it was just fascinating, man. And
100%.
And super, super cool to hear. Like, obviously, you touched on TC's keynote, Xiao Hang's keynote, but some of the panel members that we had at the event too. And guys, we did film the whole thing. We will be sharing that with you. So, that's going to be exciting as well. But there was some really, really great insights. I did moderate a panel at the start, and even, some of the members there, it was very fascinating. Maggie, actually, who you've seen before, guys, shout out to Maggie from Zypher. That was really, really fun. And it is just super exciting. The buzz around Hong Kong, like at these events, is obviously we're live here from Concensus Hong Kong. We've actually there was just so much going on outside, guys. We did manage to find a private room to come in. But it's been a very, very big day. I saw you out there talking to a few VCs and a whole lot of people that are interested. So that was really, really cool. But Charlie, let's give the people what they want. I want to hear a little bit of your history. Like, you're very accomplished. You obviously, I've seen you operating. You're great at what you do, man. Out there wheeling and dealing, and it's pretty incredible the impact that you've had in the very short time that you've been here. Mm-hmm. So it's super exciting. So I guess, like, what's your background? Like, how did you arrive at the point that you're at now?
So I went to UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
I assume everyone watching knows that it's the #1 public university in the world. It's located in the city of Berkeley, California, right outside San Francisco in the Bay Area. I majored in economics and I minored in history. And before working at Polyhedra, I was working at a startup in the Bay Area called Anon.com. Anon basically builds infrastructure for AI agents to be able to interact with applications that are an open API. So, for example, LinkedIn doesn't have an API for you to share access to your account for an AI agent. But you might want an AI agent to do things. For example, you might want an AI agent to scrape, let's say you're a salesman, you want an AI agent to scrape every connection you have within 2 degrees at, this list of 10 companies. If you're doing that by hand, I've done that by hand at jobs I've had before. That would literally take, 5 days. Mm-hmm. To just go through that. And you could have an AI agent do it in an instant. But Twitter doesn't have an open API because they don't want bots that aren't consensually given access to be able to scrape your your LinkedIn data. And so what Anon does is Anon builds technology to be able to export your sessions actually from your device to a backend server, and then Anon can reproduce those sessions, those LinkedIn sessions on a server where an AI agent can access it. We had a lot of success. I think just a couple months into the company, I was employee #1 at the company, so I actually joined when we were pre-product. We closed 3 sales deals, each worth into 6 figures. We closed on top of that 3 design partnerships, and this stuff I was very involved in. We raised a pre-seed round, then we raised a seed round. Then we ended up raising a seed plus round. We in total raised $12.5 million. We at this point now these guys have gone crazy since I joined Polyhedra. But I think
you're bringing that same grind.
Exactly.
To Polyhedra, which
dozens of sales deals were closed. And so that was my background before coming here. I think we had a lot of success. I think it was a great. I think working in Anon was a great experience for me to be able to get in touch with a lot of the core people in the tech space in the Bay Area. And of course, I knew some of the top guys at Polyhedra because in the past I had done, this summer where I was doing research with these McGill graduate students about using NFTs for for cybersecurity to represent your identity, sort of like a decentralized, like a DID, decentralized identity thing. And so that's how I got in touch with these guys. And like I said, I ended up, joining Polyhedra because I think these guys have a really compelling vision. I think obviously some things I'm really excited about Polyhedra in specific are that the company has a great media arm. That is like the core of any business. Of course, I mean, you see nowadays in like, this whole influencer space, like any, Logan Paul can sell a worse version of Gatorade for 3 times the price just because he has this great media arm.
The cloud,
It's all about the cloud, and we've done great at the media. But unlike like some random energy drink made by an influencer or something like that, we have we actually are building real products that solve real problems. Obviously, the core of the business is the zero knowledge bridge, which is super important because blockchains have become super fractious, and now there are a bunch of different blockchains that aren't interoperable. And so blockchain is supposed to be decentralized, but blockchain isn't supposed to be like totally disconnected. And so then the question is, how can you work between chains? And before the zero knowledge proof, you were relying on cross-chain bridges that basically relied on a trusted third party. But at that point, then it's not decentralized, and then you run into something like an FTX disaster or something like that, and then you have millions of people who get totally screwed over. So we needed a trustless way to be built into smart contracts, and the zero knowledge proof and the zero knowledge bridge was the way to do that. And so that's an example of Polyhedra solving a core problem. And now you and I were actually just talking about this when we were mingling with a bunch of people who come to our event. About the problems we're solving in AI, and one of the problems in AI now is again, it's a trust issue. What we see with like with DeepSeek, for example, is there's actually emergent AI and tech in Asia that's actually, I mean, for Americans at least, shockingly competitive with the American leaders, which I don't think a lot of people expected. But there's this huge roadblock to the success of those types of companies, which is that Americans don't trust those people, don't trust companies coming from nations that are foreign adversaries, to not mishandle data and to not manipulate AI outputs, which is a huge problem. And so using zero knowledge proofs, you can basically monitor the decision tree for the AI to make and validate in a zero knowledge way that your data hasn't been mishandled and that the outputs of the AI haven't been manipulated. And this is key because if any company outside of the US or really outside of the West wants to, first of all, not just have consumers mistrust them and not use them, or corporations mistrust them and not use them, but I mean, potentially get completely banned like we saw under the Biden administration. All ByteDance apps were banned, which is crazy given the amount of people who use TikTok in the United States, and the amount of people whose businesses rely on that. What they say is the American government, and there is enough political will for the American government to take a harsh stance and say, we're not even going to let consumers choose not to use you because they don't trust you. We think it's such a national security risk that we're just going to ban you wholesale. The only chance that this industry has is to have a trustless, decentralized entity that can monitor them and make sure that they are in compliance with standards that are important to Westerners. And so zero knowledge proofs are going to be key, or else we're going to live in a world in which East Asian tech is not trusted in the West. And if it's not, East Asian tech is not trusted in the West, you're going to have both consumers choosing not to use it, and you're going to potentially have governments banning it wholesale, which means those companies are going to be severely limited in their ability to innovate and contribute to technological progress, and frankly, in the ability to have any financial success. They actually need the types of products that Polyhedra is building, and so that's part of the reason I've been so excited about Polyhedra. Is not just do we have this great media arm and a great team that I love and am familiar with. I've known some of these guys for years. But we're solving real problems in the Web3 space, which I think is really cool because, of course, everyone knows in crypto, you have like meme coins and stuff that's like fun and it's like a joke, but it's not. It's not solving a problem. meme coins, like people like trading them because they're fun and whatever, but that's not solving a huge problem. This is solving real issues that are very serious for people to consider. It's issues of cybersecurity. It's issues of like how the future of tech is going to evolve on the planet.
Absolutely. Like you said, like the meme coin thing, as we're kind of just discussing outside.
There's nothing wrong with meme coins.
There's nothing wrong with meme coins, but there is a lot of rugs being laid and a lot of rugs being pulled. But I like to say, like, you know, it's almost like what we're doing is laying the foundation of a skyscraper. Like, you can't pull that. Like, this is exactly. Everything's going to stand on top of this. Yeah. And you know, even some of the people we were having chats with outside, you know, everyone really gets it as well. Like, you know, people that are even new to ZK, we had like a whole variety of people that we were speaking to, but when you kind of explain it out, it's just like the light bulb goes on. Yeah. And they're like, true. Yeah. Like, wow. Like, we do not want to run into these problems as they become problems. Like, let's not have to deal with the, you know, the consequences of not doing this.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what happened when we were talking to that guy, Alan. Yeah. Just a couple minutes before.
Shout out to Alan.
Just before we got here. Alan was like, "Oh, can you explain this thing to you?" And as soon as we said it, he's like, "Whoa, yeah, like that's exactly right. Like,
absolutely,
makes total sense." And so I think that's one of my strengths is being able to illustrate that to people who are unfamiliar, which is I think one of the other things I contribute. Polyhedra, and another thing I love about the company, you know, I was saying I love the team. Obviously, I've known some of these guys for a while. I actually used to live with some of these guys in kind of like a weird arrangement.
Okay.
We got people all over the world. I mean, we have people in, you know, Bali, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, San Francisco, Miami. And another thing that we're great at doing is we're really on the ground at a lot of these conferences. Of course, you and I are here with several of our other teammates for Concensus. And we have ambassadors who are making business deals, making connections with big companies in the space, of course, including Google. You know, the Google guys came out to meet us for our event. We have a lot of great people a lot of great ambassadors for the business who I think are really great at working grassroots and building community and enthusiasm about Polyhedra.
Yeah, absolutely. And today's summit, the Experience AI Summit, I thought it was really cool because it was like a chance for the whole team to actually interface. Yeah. Because I've got to tell you, like, at a lot of these events, it's like there's so many side events and things going on and meetings and a lot of people wanting the attention and wanting to have these meetings. So a lot of the time, like, the team members are running everywhere. You know, maybe you'll catch up for a brief, like, you catch up and how's it going, and then people are off again. It's just always so much happening. So many events, and obviously the main event as well. But yeah, it is always super busy, and it's exciting. You can really feel at these events like how much drive there is for this future and you know, the future of AI. And although this is more of a Web3 conference, there's obviously so much of an AI element going on. So it's very, very cool. As you know, working on the business side, as the CBO. These conversations that you're having, what's the general sentiment like that you're hearing from other people and other businesses and some of these deals that you're making in this industry? Is it positive? Like, is it giving you a lot of charge? You know?
Oh yeah, I think. I mean, quite frankly, I think the U.S. election, I think it was a pivotal moment for crypto. I think a lot of people felt. You know, regardless of other political issues, at least on crypto, the last administration was very hostile. I think, and obviously this administration is bringing in people like David Sachs as the crypto czar, who obviously, as you know, the founder of Craft Ventures, has deep experience in the crypto space. There's a lot of money in the crypto space.
Very cool.
So I think people definitely feel that we're getting a friendly administration from a crypto policy perspective. And yeah, you can definitely sense that enthusiasm. Definitely in the U.S., but even here, I mean, you know, I'm bringing up Alan again, but you know, he was saying the same thing. Elon Musk, obviously, you know, a core leader of this new administration, and obviously Elon Musk is a famous crypto enthusiast. I mean, he named he named the department he's leading after a crypto token. So I think.
Was that a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence.
As an American insider.
No way that's a coincidence. But actually funny, I actually kind of am an insider. I don't know if I should reveal this, but anyone who's been following like the administration closely in the news, there's like this huge like thing about how Elon Musk hired like a bunch of like 23-year-olds to lead Doge, and what's crazy is these 23-year-olds. I'm gonna tell this hilarious story. I'm not. I wish. So these 23-year-olds are granted like it's crazy. They're granted like I forget exactly what they have some right. It's like they have the right to show up to any federal building, demand a top floor office, and they have the right to fire pretty much anyone who's not like a 4-star general or like a cabinet appointee.
Yeah, wow.
But anyways, like this is where I'm going.
There must be smart 23-year-olds. I mean, some of the smartest people in the world.
This is the funny thing is, one of the guys was my friend from Berkeley. He didn't tell anyone about it, so I'm reading the news. I'm actually reading a hit piece on him, but I don't know. They don't say his name till halfway. They're doing a hit piece on him, and they're like, "This is like this guy's too young for this position or whatever." And then I read his name. His name's Akash Baba, and we lived in the same building in college. He actually lived on the floor below me, so we hung out like probably 100 times over the course of college. So it's it's hilarious that like to see that my friends. Somehow
he's gone straight to the top.
Yeah, my friend is somehow like in Elon Musk's inner circle, but we're talking about an administration's friendly to crypto. One of the things that Akash did in college was he was a member of blockchain at Berkeley, which is Berkeley's like premier blockchain club, and he was like one of the lead guys there.
Gotcha.
And so really at every stage from Trump's executive orders to Elon Musk to David Sachs to Akash, like everyone in this circle is super pro crypto. And it's also just hilarious to discover that like your friend is somehow like in Elon Musk's inner circle secretly, I guess.
Right. It seems like they're doing a lot of good work there at Doge as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I trust Akash to do a good job.
Nice. All right, there you go, guys. Akash, insider information. I might jump in. We do have a bunch of questions from the community and some interesting ones. I think everyone just wants to get to know you, Charlie.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. Let me scroll through some of these. What is a?
Dude, I think we answered all the questions, bro.
Yeah, you pretty much rolled through a lot of these questions. There's obviously questions around partnerships and collaborations that are in the pipeline.
Some of those you got to keep under the table because when you're in negotiations, you obviously cannot use names. Also, even once you close some deals, there are usually stipulations. You can't use their name or have public-facing material without prior approval and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, we're working on listings. We're working on partnerships with people who accept crypto's payment. Anything from travel sites to payment providers. We're working on different media deals. And so yeah, it's sort of like kind of hectic. But those are the types of agreements. Obviously, I gave some specific examples earlier in this conversation. But those are going to grow. The accessibility of Polyhedra's infrastructure. They're also going to grow our credibility because we're going to be working with big institutions. We're going to be getting our name out there.
Awesome. Well, love it. Okay, so another personal question here for you.
Oh, geez.
Charles, what has been your most memorable experience as Chief Business Officer at Polyhedra?
I think this might be my most memorable experience.
Right on, man. Nice.
Yeah. Anthony and I had met online, but Anthony's a more fun guy, even more fun guy in person. So Anthony and I went out last night. We walked around the town a little bit.
Saw the lights.
Yeah, saw the lights.
Got some dumplings.
Got some dumplings. Hung out today. So I definitely say find a Concensus. I've never been to Asia before. Had a lot of fun with Anthony the past 2 days. Also, yeah, like I said, it's really it's fun to feel the energy in person because obviously crypto space, tech space, you're doing a lot of remote work. To feel the energy in person, both at the Concensus event today, where I was at the main event just for registration, waiting in line because the actual events begin the next 2 days, but also the side events, including our own, seeing audience come to visit us, seeing TC be surrounded by a group of his fans who are asking him questions. So
he does. It's funny.
It's funny. TC has fans. He never gets it. TC has fans. I was talking.
He's got huge fans.
He's got TC has they were guys, but TC has fangirls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean, he's so accomplished.
No. TC's famous in the crypto space.
He is.
I mean, TC is legitimately famous.
The man is arguably a genius. and that obviously, obviously getting a lot of attention from some very influential players that all want to get a little bit of knowledge from that from the Genius knowledge tree. And it's great. Like, I mean, I always love talking to TC and hearing him talk. It's always a good time. And even though some of it's like you're just like trying to wrangle the vernacular, you're like, well, we'll just like pause. But he's so good at like at kind of like explaining his thoughts. Like, he'll get technical, but then he'll explain it to you in such a way that you're just like, okay, it makes sense and mind blowing. So very, very cool. All right, here's one for both of us, man. So what personal projects or initiatives are you most passionate about outside of your work at Polyhedra?
All right, why don't you go ahead first?
All right, what personal projects or initiatives?
Other than surfing.
Okay, diving. No, like, I guess a lot of them really tie into everything that we're doing at Polyhedra, though, like on some level or another.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like I'm big on sustainability, and I've worked in the space for a long time. And one thing that really excited me about Web3 and decentralization was, being able to decentralize and have kind of a view of things like logistics. Like, it's kind of very fragmented industry. It's, obviously like SMBs account for a lot of problems that we have with anything on the environmental side. But it's just very fragmented. There's no kind of view of what's going on, and it's not very efficient. So that's something that I saw, and I'm actually like I know people who are working in that space, so I get to like talk to them as well and like hear what's going on in that space. There are some really exciting things, but then there is, I guess the problem with that side was it was just too much data, right? And now that AI has become so prevalent, it's actually snowballing and becoming so much more efficient. But these companies, they still need the guardrails, and although like some of them that I know that they're in stealth, and the things they're doing are incredible, like crazy stuff. Like you wouldn't even think to like when they've talked, I'm just like, that's not possible. Like, you don't have the processing power.
It's not possible.
But then they kind of like some of the roadblocks they were facing was around security and privacy, and how they were going to be able to navigate that around the data that they had. And but now they're just like, I think like with the way Expander has moved forward and how quickly the time is for generating these proofs, and I kind of mentioned that to them. They were like, oh, that's the answer. So I think that could be something, and it's just so cool to see these projects just like, and once they realize the potency of zero knowledge, they're just like, this is the answer I've been looking for, So it's very, very cool. So that's I guess that, and of course, I do like surfing. How about you, man?
Well, I mean, I do like to spend a lot of my free time working on tech-related stuff. A lot of the stuff I eventually plan to pursue as like a startup. Some of it's just like a fun thing. It's like a helpful tool. Anything that I worked on that's public should already be online, so I'll let you guys find that yourselves. But I guess one thing that's interrelated to Polyhedra in my first time visiting Asia is that one of the things I'm working on in my free time is travel. So I love to do road trips. I've actually driven across the entire United States 4 different times. I've visited almost every national park in the continental United States. I've visited 48 of the 50 states.
Cool.
So that's one of the things that I like to spend my free time doing.
So now you're gonna have to get around Asia. You're gonna have to get a car and cruise through.
Anyway,
there's some very cool things in Hong Kong. If you haven't been, it's such a beautiful city, such a thriving, beautiful city.
It's a great place. I'm very impressed, and the food's great, and the people.
Food is great. It's probably one of my favorites.
The city is the city. I mean, itself, like the infrastructure, and the bridges, and the towers. I mean, it's crazy.
It is, It's a metropolis. Very, very cool. Another question: will there be any networking opportunities with other AI professionals or companies? Well, yes, absolutely. We've been
for sure
doing it all day, and we imagine there's going to be many, many more. Probably next week, we'll be able to tell you more after the fact. We'll be able to give you a bit more information about some of the things we've been doing. But if you do want to message, you guys know you can always message me. Talk to me on Discord. I can update you live, and we'll be trying to update you guys as keep it as live as possible.
Yeah.
There's the surprise guest. Yep, I think we covered that. We've covered a lot of these questions, Charlie.
Yeah, I think we answered everything.
Yeah, what synergies exist between Polyhedra's goals and Concensus's mission? I guess it's very similar, right? Like,
Consensus's mission is, one of the things that we're doing is, Consensus is hosted by CoinDesk. One of the things that we're doing is partnering with one of the big news websites in the crypto space. So again, Consensus's mission, if you read their website, it's also all about bringing the community together. Their whole pitch is basically that Consensus is the best place to do business and make connections and network. And I think that's one of the things that we're out here doing. You can answer that question too. It sounds like you were excited.
No, I agree. You nailed it. I agree 100% with you. Obviously around the educational piece and just building the infrastructure for the future. Obviously going different ways about it, but it's very much what we're doing is just educating and bringing onboarding the next wave of people for our industry. And, even for those that aren't necessarily going on board for Web3, because we're not even some of our tech, right? It's not just Web3. It's not just about decentralization. Some of these are tools that developers can use in AI, to give it the zero knowledge aspect.
Yeah.
So there is that as well, and shout out obviously, to our founders that they really are looking at this holistically and have, got to respect the fact that it's open source. Like it's a brilliant
absolutely
thing. Awesome. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. We are coming up on 40 minutes here, Charlie. So we might wrap that up. We've got a dinner to get to, a few more network opportunities. Anything you wanted to add?
I'd say we killed it, bro. I think this was a great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hopefully we got to a lot of your questions. I'm sure Charlie's going to be back on the show. I really like this format. I think we need to do it more in person. It's obviously super fun, and we're going to keep you guys updated. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for the questions. And until next time, have a beautiful day, guys.